Good afternoon, ladies. Thank you. Welcome to this afternoon's assembly, and I invite Jamie Crowe to say our custodial acknowledgement and school prayer.
I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land upon which we meet, which are the Kumameri from the Yugambeh Nation. I pay my respects to the elders, both past and present. Please stand for the school prayer. Almighty God, from whom comes every good and perfect gift, send down your blessing, we pray, on this school. Teach us to live together in love and community. In our work, give us the spirit of understanding and perseverance. In our games, true sportsmanship, and in our prayers, the power to draw near to you. Let the spirit of devotion and loyalty bind us all more closely together, so that we may labour not only for our own advantage, but also for the common good. Through him who loved us and gave himself for us, Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. One of the things I did this week that I'm sure you all have missed was that I got a bit carried away in the extra article that I wrote because I saw that the state government had talked about introducing Saturday detentions within schools, and it sort of activated me just a little bit as I thought, what an absolutely horrible thing to think of doing. So if any of you are thinking, you might ask me if we're going to reinstitute Saturday detentions. Please don't, because we won't. And there is no way I would ever contemplate a school that had such things in them. I think that this school owes a lot of its success to the atmosphere that you guys bring to it, and that atmosphere that you bring is very significantly dependent on the willingness to take on some of the values, and those values start with being polite to each other and being warm and generous to each other. And I don't see how we could teach you to be confident young women, prepared to use your voice, to practice elegance in the face of perhaps a desire for mischief. I don't think we're going to really teach you to do that if we start to hold over your head the notion of a Saturday detention, which sounds perhaps a dreadful thing to either supervise or attend. But that doesn't mean to say that the culture that we have within the school isn't critically important. It is, and it's important because of what we all do for and with each other, and the understanding that we bring and the sensitivity that we bring to each other. So as we walk past each other, it really is nice to acknowledge, it's nice to have it joined with a nice smile, it's nice to connect up with a hello and find out the discovery what sort of day each of us have had. And to do that is not just token, it's part of bonding and ensuring that when the hard times come, or the difficult times, or the difficult day comes, then that we know that we are surrounded by people who care enough to actually try and help, even if they don't know exactly what to do. So, that said, the topic I really want to talk to you about today is one that I contemplated talking about at Speech Day last year, and it came about because walking through the library on one occasion last year, I came across a book by an advertising agent who used to run the New York advertising agency Saatchi & Saatchi. And if any of you know advertising agencies around the world, Saatchi & Saatchi are really the pinnacle of these sorts of organisations. And the CEO of Saatchi & Saatchi wrote a book, and he came up with a rather interesting diagram about products that he liked to advertise and sell. And he said there are two ingredients in a really good product: respect and love. And if you have respect but no love, then people will forget about the product. They will like it, it will sell quite well, but if there's no love for the product, you're missing a major ingredient that will bring a lot of loyalty and dedication towards that product. At the other end of the extreme, he said if you have a product that has love but no respect, it'll be a fad. It'll be something that becomes important for a very short period of time and then disappears. And I guess as I was thinking about this relationship, that I guess my iPhone is something that I have love and respect for. I think that's one of those sorts of products that somehow manages to morph both those qualities together. I look at my tie and I think it's probably one that I should have respect for because it does a certain job. But to be honest with you, I don't really love it. And it's not something that I will ever really get an emotional attachment. It's functioning. It sort of does the job, but, you know, it is a bit ordinary, isn't it? So I don't think this is a product, if I saw it on special, even at 50% discount, I don't think I would rush up to buy another one just like this. I think I would be looking for another product to purchase. The point of the whole thing, of course, is out of love and respect. It's not only about branding of products and items like this, it's about branding ourselves. And the notion is easily transferable across to humanity. That notion that if we can somehow combine love and respect in who we are and how we work, then we really have quite the wonderful product that is us. I guess if people just love us but they don't respect us, well, that's a bit ugly, isn't it? Really, it's, I don't know how that's really going to quite work. And if they respect us but don't love us, well, it's just going to lead to sadness, I guess. So, you know, I guess it means we'll all get jobs, but we won't get much of a relationship. So, the combination of those two things. So I came across, I thought, well, what products in the world really seem to connect with this notion of love and respect? And one of the biscuits that's the most famous biscuits of the world, really, came to mind, the Oreo. Have you eaten an Oreo? Anyone eaten an Oreo? Hands up. Anyone? Oh, that's wonderful, isn't it? Fantastic. It's an American biscuit, we've all eaten. It is a very famous biscuit. In fact, it comes from a factory now that's producing these things by, I heard the figure and it was something like multiple 4 acres of factory make Oreo biscuits. And they're producing them in something like 2 million an hour. Right? You know, how can you give special attention to the much loved biscuit when you're producing in that quantity? But anyway, it's a 4-acre factory and obviously they do it well. So let's watch the first of these clips. Shows something of that sort of multinational love that the world has for the Oreo.
Okay, see you in an hour.
1 Oreo for me, 1 Oreo for you.
You know what? Make it tomorrow.
First we twist it. Then the hand. Then the kid. Now donkey.
Ha! I'm gonna eat you up!
The Oreo.
It's a product that has really found its way into the hearts of many, many generations. Somehow it has managed to fit that sense of love and respect somehow into simple little biscuits. And the protocol of eating an Oreo properly, of course, as many people know, is of course to get the cream inside, hence the twist that they incorporated into that ad, and of course the time-honoured thing that our mothers probably tried desperately to stop us doing, which was to dunk it. But it's of course all part of the ritual of why we love an Oreo so much. So I guess when I came across this next one, I thought, oh, it's sort of nice to share the planet with these people, but it's also nice to see them on video more than perhaps you'll get the idea as we go through. See what this fellow chose to do with his insight, his time, and his opportunity to put into practice his learning and his education. This is what this fellow chose to do with his opportunity in life to show what you could do with learning and a lot of education. This is his choice.
My name is David Neville, and I'm a physicist and copywriter. We're in the frigid but interesting Mad Dog Garage in Portland, Oregon. My Oreo separator machine is entirely based on the dislike of cream and preference for cookie. It goes by OSM. It's just an acronym. Here's the little on-off switch that I made out of some scraps of aluminum. One of the hardest things to overcome was to learn how to build robots and make them work. But it was also difficult to keep my hands warm and the back of my neck warm. It not only makes me cold to sit here and work on it all day and night, but it makes the cookies cold, and that makes the cream more difficult to separate from the cookie. This is where the Oreo actually starts on the machine. You just place one here. This arm grabs the Oreo, and it places it over here. I don't have a catchphrase for my machine, but I guess if it did have one, it could be something like, let's get that cream out of there, or like, this cream's no good, get it off the cookie or something. And these two panels flip up and get it ready for the first real important process, the division process. I've been working on my machine now for about 0.04 years. I used tools and wires and wood and a lot of aluminum and motors. The division process is carried out by this hatchet, which lowers down right through the center of the Oreo, and then I've got this floss to kind of keep the creamy Oreo halves from sticking to the hatchet blade. It was a big time commitment to build the machine. I had to work some long hours. I didn't get to see my girlfriend or my dog for hours at a time sometimes. And I had to try to find like a good sandwich in this part of the city and stuff. There were a lot of sacrifices, I guess. And these arms will come down to receive the two Oreo halves and then bring them over here to this little tray. And then the tray clamps the Oreos down and holds them and gets them ready for the next step, which is the CNC router table that's going to take the cream off of the cookie halves. I'll power it up now and we can give it a try. Two clean, delicious Oreos. Yum.
I see that particular clip as the equivalent of, there you are, you start with a product that has love and respect, but somehow this poor fellow manages to mangle the whole sense of what an Oreo is by removing the cream in the most extraordinary manner imaginable. And to push the example just a little way, it strikes me that it's not that far from that notion of if you managed in your own personality to mingle love and respect, but you hung around with someone who wanted to take the cream off you in most unusual ways. It would spoil what the end result was. It would spoil the personality, it would spoil the magic of the love and respect that was left. And it would seem to me that it does matter who you hang around with and what you do with your knowledge and what you do with that is capable of being used much better. But then, in all seriousness, there is a way in which a group of people around the world, very successful people around the world, are saying to your generation, use the skills you have to go and learn something. Learn something good, learn something that the world can use, and use your imagination to apply it. Don't just think you always have to rely on somebody else. And this next clip is self-explanatory, it's very simple, I think it's beautifully presented, and the message is quite powerful. Don't think you can't learn, and don't think you can't do it all by yourself. And to preliminary illustrate this, last year while I was in Boston, I met Sarah Dong, who was one of our old girls. I don't know whether anyone here was at the school when Sarah was at the school. I hope some can remember her. Sarah is a remarkable individual. She went through this school, loving her physics in particular, It was one of her favourite subjects, and she always told me she didn't love her maths, but she seems to have been fairly good at it. She's just finished her first degree at MIT, which is one of America's most prestigious universities, and she works part-time in the nuclear reactor, which to learn how to control the nuclear reactor at MIT, she had to learn what looked to me to be the equivalent of a couple of phone books worth of procedures. Quite remarkable what she learned. She married at the end of last year, and the story of that just makes me smile every time, because she wanted a nice wedding dress, but she didn't have the money as a poor student at MIT paying her own way through. So she looked up YouTube and found a clip on how to sew. She didn't know how to sew. She'd never made anything. Oh, she did say she made boxer shorts here at St Hilda's when she was in about year 8. But apart from that, she had never made any garment at all. But she looked up YouTube and she found a clip on how to make a wedding dress, and so she taught herself. As she was preparing for the wedding, her husband was equally poor, and so they didn't have any furniture. So again, she went to YouTube, looked up how to make furniture, and they made all the furniture for the flat by watching the clips on YouTube. Self-taught, did a wonderful job. I saw the photos of both the furniture and the wedding dress, and it was quite extraordinary, quite commendable. You can teach yourself lots of things. See what this suggestion is.
I was 13 when I first got access to a computer.
My parents bought me a Macintosh in 1984 when I was 8 years old. I was in 6th grade.
I learned to code in college. Freshman year, first semester, intro to computer science.
I wrote a program to play tic-tac-toe.
I think it was pretty humble beginnings. I think the first program I wrote asked things like, what's your favorite color? Or how old are you?
I first learned how to make a green circle and a red square appear on the screen.
The first time I actually had something come up and say, hello world, and I made a computer do that. It was just astonishing.
Learning how to program didn't start off as wanting to learn all of computer science or trying to master this discipline or anything like that. It just started off because I wanted to do this one simple thing. I wanted to make something that was fun for myself and my sisters. And I wrote this little program, and then basically just add a little bit to it. And then when I needed to learn something new, I looked it up, either in a book or on the internet, and then added a little bit to it.
It's really not unlike kind of playing an instrument or something, or playing a sport. It starts out being very intimidating, but you kind of get the hang of it over time.
Coding is something that can be learned, and I know it can be intimidating. A lot of things are intimidating, but you know, what isn't?
A lot of the coding that people do is actually fairly simple. It's more about the process of breaking down problems than sort of coming up with complicated algorithms as people traditionally think about it.
You don't have to be a genius to know how to code. You need to be determined.
Additions, fractions, that's about it.
You should probably know your multiplication tables.
You don't have to be a genius to code. Do you have to be a genius to read?
Even if you want to become a race car driver or play baseball, build a house, all of these things have been turned upside down by software.
What it is, computers are everywhere. You want to work in agriculture? Do you want to work in entertainment? Do you want to work in manufacturing? It's just all over.
Here we are, 2013. We all depend on technology to communicate, to bank, information, and none of us know how to read and write code.
When I was in school, I was in this after-school group called the Whiz Kids, and when people found out, they laughed at me and, all these things. And I'm like, man, I don't care. I think it's cool, and, I'm learning a lot, and some of my friends have jobs.
Our policy is literally to hire as many talented engineers as we can find. The whole limit in the system is just that there just aren't enough people who are trained and have these skills today.
To get the very best people, we try to make the office as awesome as possible.
Fantastic Chef.
Free food.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Free laundry.
Snacks. Even places to play and video games and scooters. There's all these kind of interesting things around the office and places where people can play or relax or go to think or play music or be creative.
Whether you're trying to make a lot of money or whether you just want to change the world, computer programming is an incredibly empowering skill to learn.
I think if someone had told me that software is really about humanity, that it's really about helping people by using computer technology, it would have changed my outlook a lot earlier.
To be able to actually come up with an idea and then see it in your hands and then be able to press a button and have it be in millions of people's hands. I think we're the first generation in the world that's really ever had that kind of experience.
Just to think that you can start something in your college dorm room and you can have a set of people who haven't built a big company before come together and build something that 1 billion people use as part of their daily lives is just crazy to think about, right? It's humbling and it's amazing.
The programmers of tomorrow are the wizards of the future. You know, you're going to look like you have magic powers compared to everybody else.
I think it's amazing. I think it's the closest thing we have to a superpower.
Great coders are today's rock stars. That's it.
My message to you is simple. I think every one of us has the right to believe that for us, love and respect ought to be a natural part of who we are and our future. 2, every one of us needs to beware and stay away from those who want to take the cream off the good things about us. And 3, we all should go learn something. Thank you.
Good afternoon, girls. Today we're going to present the Age Champions and the Age Champion runner-up for Inter-House Cross Country that was held a couple of weeks ago. It was really great to see so many of you put in a real effort and actually try and at least run and walk a bit of it or run the whole way. It was really lovely to actually see you put a decent amount of effort in, and we actually got some great times at the end of it. I'd just like to say also that from that carnival we obviously picked our QG team, and we took 40 girls to the first lead-up meet last week. And for the first time in a long time, we actually had 4 girls place in the top 5 in that lead-up meet across country. So that's really exciting. So well done to those girls, and hopefully that will stand us in good stead for QG in 2 weeks' time. Okay, for our 12 years and under runner-up from Carrigaroo, Miller Harrison. Years and under age champion, Keely Whittaker. Years runner-up from Banksia, Sophie Rice. Years age champion from Banksia, Jordan Bennett. Years runner-up from Carrigaroo, Shani Older. Years age champion from Banksia, Zoe Cole-Ross. 15 years runner-up from Melaleuca, Lucy Coleman. Age champion from Banksia, Alexandra Christie. Years runner-up from Banksia, Georgia McGregor Batty. Years age champion, Melaleuca, Stephanie Rutherford. Years runner-up from Banksia, Ashley Lucas. And 17 years age champion from Banksia, Isa Kidd. Congratulations, girls. The Border versus Day Girl Tug of War, the Wheaton Trophy. The winners of that were the Borders. Katie would like to come up and receive the trophy. Oh! Sorry, Day Girl, Samantha Pierce. Trophy with 634 points in third place, Carrigaroo. In second place with 642 points, Melaleuca. So on an outstanding 848 points, Banksia.
Hi girls, firstly I would like to congratulate you all for your efforts on cross country, and I was proud to see the level of encouragement you gave one another. With the girls who made it through to the QG, please stand up so we can congratulate you. Last Tuesday afternoon, the top 20 runners from each age group competed in QG practice, and it was great to see everyone trying their best and achieving great results. I would like to congratulate Scarlett, who came first in the 15 years, and Isa, who placed third in 17 to 18 years.
QG girls are required to attend trainings on Tuesdays and Thursday afternoons. These trainings are from 3:30 until 4:30, or there is an optional training on Friday morning which starts at 6:30. Trainings, however, are available to girls that didn't make it to the team, so feel free to come along if you wish to. Girls who made it to the team, please remember that this Thursday there is another QG lead-up meet, and the QG competition is on Saturday the 11th of May, which is next weekend. I hope to see as many spectators there as possible, supporting the girls in our school. We've arranged buses for you so that your parents don't have to drive you. Thank you, and I hope to see you at trainings.
Hi girls, I'm here on behalf of Charlie Griffith as she's away today. The artistic gymnastics girls did really well today. This is their message. Well done to all the artistic girls for competing yesterday. Overall, we did repetitive. Overall, we did a fantastic job, and I'm so proud of you all. You all worked extremely hard up to the competition, and your hard work paid off. Everyone did a wonderful job, but in particular the open team who came third in their division. Well done, girls.
house plays are underway and will be performed on Tuesday, week 6. Be there or be square. Art Week will occur this term with music and drama activities at lunchtime.
Twilight concerts are happening all through this term. They happen in Langford after schools, and all the girls would really love your support. So there will be a schedule posted on the music notice board next week of all the Twilight concerts, and if you can make it, please come. Thank you, girls.
Good afternoon. Today we are here as the Non-Novus Solum Committee members to tell you about our focus charity for this term, the National Breast Cancer Foundation.
Breast cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer among women in Australia. It is an illness that hits close to home for many of us in the room. Each day, 37 Australians are diagnosed with breast cancer and 7 lose their life to this disease. 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. To give you a visual representation of this figure, could we please ask the first 5 rows on my right-hand side to stand up, please? These girls standing represent the people diagnosed with breast cancer. That's quite a large number. Thank you, girls.
The National Breast Cancer Foundation raises funds for research into the prevention and cure of breast cancer, with the goal to achieve a 0 death rate from breast cancer by 2030, and belief that research is the most effective way to end it. They don't receive any government funding, so any money we can raise will help fund vital research. To help support the breast cancer research by some of Australia's leading scientists, we will be running a number of fundraisers throughout the term, of which we will inform you about in the coming weeks.
The first event that you can get involved in is the Mother's Day Classic, which is coming up on Sunday the 12th of May. St Hilda's coordinates a school team every year and has the largest team entering the race for many years now. We would love to keep this title for 2013, so come along on the day and join in. It's a 4 or 8k walk or run at Main Beach along the beautiful beachfront and the Esplanade, with races starting from 7:45 a.m. If you would like to participate, more information can be found on the school website and parent lounge. Don't forget to register under the St Hilda's team. This is really easy to do when you're registering for the event. You just have to select St Hilda's School Southport, Queensland from the drop box under the subheading teams. The Mother's Day Classic is a fun morning and a wonderful opportunity to not only spend some quality time with your mother, family members and friends, but also a great way to help raise funds for the Breast Cancer Foundation.
Our focus this term isn't just about fundraising. We would also like to encourage you to talk about breast cancer with your family and friends, particularly women. Spread the word and get involved in projects to raise awareness. As always, support those who may need it, especially when they are going through difficult times. Give not only emotional support, but also a part of yourself to help them through.
The Breast Cancer Foundation is a truly wonderful and worthy organisation. Please support our fundraisers throughout the term and get involved in the Mother's Day Classic. It is through your donations and support that research can be performed so that a cure for breast cancer can be found. Thank you.
So just a quick side note before we get to the school song. Blazer Tuesdays are starting this term, so it's nice to see that some people already brought their blazers in. But just a reminder to start bringing your blazer every Tuesday for chapels and assemblies. Thank you.
And could you please stand for the school song?